Dear child, this is a spiritual reflection, not a prediction. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Last night, something truly meaningful happened in the unseen. It wasn't loud, and it wasn't dramatic on the outside, but inside your person, everything shifted. A wall they had built slowly over time finally cracked, not because they were forced, but because their heart was tired of lying to itself. In the stillness of the night, when there was nothing to distract them, the truth surfaced, and that truth was you. They didn't just think of you in passing. They felt you. They felt your presence, your energy, your spirit. They remembered who you are at your core, the way you love deeply, the way you stay gentle even after being hurt, the way you carry strength without hardening your heart. They remembered how you waited without demanding, how you cared without controlling, how you loved without pretending. And that memory hit them with a weight they could no longer ignore. They've been trying to convince themselves they moved on. They told themselves time would fade the connection. They stayed busy. They laughed. They tried new paths. But last night exposed the truth their mind kept avoiding. You never left their heart. There has always been a space inside them that only your presence filled. And when the noise stopped, that emptiness became impossible to deny. In that quiet, emotions came up they thought were long buried. Maybe it showed up as tears they didn't expect. Maybe as a tightness in their chest. Maybe as restlessness that wouldn't let them sleep. Maybe as a dream so real it stayed with them after waking. They may have whispered your name without planning to. Their heart spoke before their pride could stop it. And once the heart speaks honestly, there is no going back to pretending. What they felt wasn't simple nostalgia. It wasn't just missing a memory. It felt spiritual, like an awakening. Some connections don't dissolve with time. They echo, they resurface, they return stronger when the soul is finally ready to listen. That's what happened. Their spirit remembered you, not as a fantasy, but as truth. They remembered how safe they felt with you, how seen they felt, how your love didn't require them to perform or hide. They remembered how you prayed for them, how you believed in them even when they doubted themselves. They remembered the peace that came with you, and in remembering that peace, they realized they haven't felt it anywhere else. So their heart began confessing what their mouth has not yet said. Inside, something admitted, I miss them. I need them. I shouldn't have let this go. Even if they haven't reached out yet, that confession has already happened in the deepest part of them. The shift is internal, but it's real. You may have felt it too. A sudden ache, a strange pull, a wave of emotion that didn't match your day. A moment where they came to mind strongly for no clear reason. When there is a deep soul connection, energy moves before words do. Hearts speak in the spirit long before conversations happen. Last night, their heart energy was loud, and your spirit noticed. At the same time, fear is present, not fear of you, but fear of the weight of what you mean. Love like this requires honesty. It requires accountability. It requires growth. And they know they weren't ready before. That realization brings humility. They don't want to return casually. They don't want to repeat old mistakes. Something inside them knows that if they come back, it must be different. It must be real. That's why there may still be silence. Silence doesn't always mean lack of love. Sometimes silence means someone is trying to gather courage. Sometimes it means they're learning how to approach something sacred with care. Sometimes it means they're asking God for guidance because they don't want to damage what they finally understand the value of. While you were hurting, something was changing in them. While you were waiting, something was being softened. While you were praying, something was being rebuilt. They may not fully understand it yet, but they feel it. They know they are not the same person they were when they walked away. They're seeing the past with new eyes. They're seeing you with clarity instead of fear. They're asking themselves questions they avoided before. Why did I run? Why did I resist something so pure? Why did I let pride speak louder than my heart? And as those questions grow louder, excuses lose their power. That's how real transformation begins. They're realizing you were not just a chapter. You were not easily replaceable. You carried something rare. Your love wasn't noisy or dramatic, but it was steady, sincere, and safe. And now they understand that what they thought they could find elsewhere was never meant to be replaced. They're remembering you as home, not perfect, but real, not flawless, but honest. A place where they could rest emotionally, a place where they could be themselves. Once someone remembers that kind of belonging, nothing else feels the same again. Last night was a private turning point. No one else witnessed it, but heaven did. A moment was recorded in the unseen. A realization formed. A vow quietly took shape. I won't ignore this anymore. And once that decision is made inside, things begin to move, even if slowly. If you've been sensing a shift lately, trust yourself. If you felt like something is happening behind the scenes, you're not imagining it. Not every change arrives with instant communication. Some arrive as energetic movement first. Some arrive as awareness. Some arrive as preparation. You don't need to chase. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to lower your standards or abandon your peace. You are allowed to stay grounded while allowing what is meant to unfold. Unfold. What matters is that something real has begun. The truth is simple, even if the process is complex. They still love you, and this time, that love is humbler, deeper, more honest, less driven by fear, and more driven by truth. It's the kind of love that asks a person to grow before speaking, the kind of love that doesn't rush because it wants to last. Even if you don't see immediate action, know this: pretending has ended, remembering has begun, the heart has opened. And when a heart truly opens, silence cannot remain forever. They are in a very deep inner season right now. Even if nothing on the surface seems to be happening, something has shifted inside them in a quiet but powerful way. They are slowly preparing themselves to reach out, to be honest, and to finally admit what they feel. They are realizing that the way they loved you before was incomplete, and they are beginning to understand what loving you properly would actually mean. They may not know how it will happen or when it will happen. They may still feel unsure about the timing, the words, or even their courage. But one truth has settled deeply in them. They cannot truly move forward in life while pretending you don't matter. They tried. They tried to keep going without you. They tried to convince themselves they were fine. They tried to stay busy, stay distracted, stay strong. But all of that only worked on the surface. Inside, they grew tired. Tired of running from their own heart. Tired of denying the truth. tired of pretending you didn't leave a mark. Because you did. You mattered then. You matter now. And in their heart, you always will. Right now, their silence is not emptiness. It's not rejection. It's not indifference. It's a pause filled with thought, prayer, and deep reflection. Sometimes silence is sacred. Sometimes it's what happens when someone realizes they need to approach something carefully, honestly, and with respect. They are thinking about you more than you know, replaying moments, remembering your words, remembering how you made them feel safe, seen, understood. And the more they remember, the more undone they feel. They never told you this, but your love reached parts of them no one else ever touched. Parts they didn't even know existed. Wounds they didn't realize were still open. Places they had buried under strength, humor, pride, or avoidance. Your love quietly found those places and warmed them. And now that you're not there in the same way, those places ache, not in a dramatic way, but in a deep, honest way that can't be ignored anymore. Something happened recently that woke them up emotionally and spiritually. It wasn't loud. It wasn't public. It was private. It happened when they were alone with their thoughts, when distractions stopped working, when their heart finally spoke honestly. They admitted things they didn't want to admit, that they hurt you, that they pushed you away, that fear led them, that they weren't ready back then, and finally, the truth they've been trying to avoid. They still love you. They may not have said it to you yet, but they said it in their heart. And when someone tells the truth in that space, it changes them. That's why you may have been feeling strange lately, emotional for no clear reason, heavy in the chest, sensitive, nostalgic, pulled inward. Sometimes our spirit senses what's happening before our mind understands it. Sometimes a connection stirs quietly before words arrive. They are feeling your absence more clearly now. They miss your presence, your calm, your way of loving without forcing, your prayers, even if they never acknowledged them. They didn't realize how much stability your energy brought into their life until it was gone. Now they feel the gap, and it scares them. Not because they are weak, but because they finally understand what they risked losing. They are starting to see why nothing else ever worked after you, why other connections felt shallow, why conversations felt empty, why emotions felt forced. It's not that those people were bad. It's that what you brought was depth. And once someone experiences real depth, surface-level connections no longer satisfy the soul. They didn't know they needed that depth until it was missing. Now their mind keeps going back to you, not in a fantasy way, but in a reflective way. They are remembering moments they once overlooked, things you said that now make sense, patience you showed that they didn't deserve at the time, love you gave without demanding repayment. They see it differently now because they are different now. They are asking themselves hard questions. Is it too late? Did I ruin this? Would they even want me after everything? Fear is there, but so is pull, because truth has a way of calling people back. And love, when it's real, doesn't disappear. It waits, it matures, it grows quieter, deeper, and more serious. They are no longer craving surface love. They are no longer interested in shallow attention or temporary comfort. They want something real now, something safe, something honest, something rooted. And when they think about what that looks like, your face comes to mind. your energy, your steadiness, your presence. They are praying differently now. Not careless prayers, not rushed prayers, but sincere ones, asking for guidance, asking for humility, asking for another chance if it's allowed, asking to be changed before they come forward so they don't repeat the same mistakes. That alone shows growth, because before, they may have avoided responsibility. Now, they are starting to take it. They are slowly realizing that what they had with you wasn't random. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't just timing or chemistry. It carried meaning, and meaning doesn't disappear just because someone walked away from it. It waits until the person is ready to understand it. They don't want to come back carelessly. They don't want to come back with excuses or confusion. They don't want to reopen old wounds. They want to come back correctly, if they come back at all, with clarity, with respect, with honesty, with a different heart than before. They've been looking back, not to live in the past, but to learn from it. Old messages, old photos, old conversations. Each memory shows them something, where they were afraid, where they were immature, where you were consistent, where they were distant, and with every realization, something inside them softens. This process is quiet, but it is real. Growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it happens in tears no one sees, prayers no one hears, and decisions no one knows about yet. Their silence right now is not emptiness, it is preparation. Their heart is waking up. Their pride is loosening. Their fear is losing power. They don't want to repeat the past. They want to redeem it. They want to look at you one day and speak honestly, without running, without hiding. They want to say the things they were too scared to say before. They want to show you that the change is not temporary, not emotional, not impulsive, but rooted. So if you've been feeling like something is unfinished, like the story didn't fully close, like your heart keeps circling back for a reason, it's because something is still moving beneath the surface, slowly, quietly, intentionally. You are not forgotten. You are not easily replaced, and you were never insignificant in this connection. What you gave mattered. What you felt mattered. And what's happening now is not about rushing. It's about alignment. Whatever happens next will not look like the past. It will be deeper, slower, more intentional, because this time, it's not just about missing you. It's about understanding your value, and that understanding is changing them from the inside out.